Welcome back to my channel, Bring Peace into Your Life. Today I would like to talk about the digital sunset and how to reclaim your peace. We talk a lot about work-life balance these days. It's a buzzword we hear in every meeting, see in every self-help book and read in every HR email. But let's be honest with each other for a second. It's a lot harder to find that balance when your office is literally sitting in your pocket. Think about your day. For most of us, the very first thing we do when we wake up isn't stretching or breathing or even saying good morning to the person next to us. It's reaching for that glowing rectangle on the nightstand. We check the time, but then we see a notification. Then we see an email. Then we see a headline. Before our feet have even touched the floor, our brains are already at work. We are already reacting to the world's problems before we've even had a glass of water. And then the day continues like that. We spend 8, 9, or maybe 10 hours staring at a computer screen. We use our phones during lunch. We scroll while we wait for the kettle to boil. And then when the workday is officially over, what do we do to relax? We sit on the couch and stare at a different screen. We watch TV while scrolling through our phones at the same time. By the time we head to bed, our brains are fried. We've been on for 16 hours straight. We become so used to the blue light of our screens that we've forgotten how to actually end our day. We've forgotten what it feels like to just be. That is why we feel so burnt out. It's not just the work, it's the fact that the work never actually leaves us alone. So what is the solution? The digital sunset. That's where this idea comes in. It's called the digital sunset. Now, I want to be clear, this isn't a complicated system. You don't need to download an app to do it. In fact, the whole point is to stay off the apps. It's a simple human habit. Think of it like this. About an hour or two before you plan to go to sleep, you start dimming your digital world, just like the sun dims at the end of the day in the real world. When the sun goes down, it doesn't just disappear in a second. It's a slow, beautiful fade. The sky turns orange, then purple, then deep blue. The birds go quiet, the temperature drops. Nature has a wind down process. The digital sunset is simply you doing the same thing for your brain. You aren't just hitting a power button at 11 p.m. and expecting to fall asleep at 11:01. You're giving your brain a clear signal that the day is over. You're telling your mind the shop is closed. No more inputs, no more stress. It's time to come home to yourself. You might be wondering why this matters so much. Can't I just scroll until I'm tired? Well, let's look at how our brains actually work. We weren't designed to go from 100 miles per hour straight to zero. Imagine driving a car down a highway at 70 miles per hour and then suddenly slamming on the brakes and trying to park perfectly in a tiny garage. It doesn't work. You're going to skid. You're going to feel a jolt. That's what we do to our brains every night. We spend the whole evening answering emails, checking news, and reacting to social media. Each of those things is like a hit of caffeine for your brain. When we stare at our phones right before bed, we're sending a shot of fake daylight straight into our eyes. Our bodies have an internal clock that's been there for thousands of years. It's very simple. When it sees bright light, it thinks it's noon. It thinks it's time to hunt, gather and work. When you hold that phone 6 inches from your face at 10:30 p.m, you're literally tricking your internal clock. You're telling your body to stay on high alert. It's no wonder so many of us lie awake with our mind racing. It's not because you have insomnia or because you're a bad sleeper. It's because you've basically given yourself jet lag without ever leaving your house. You've told your brain it's daytime, and then you're frustrated when it won't let you sleep. By choosing a digital sunset, you're reclaiming your evening. You're drawing a line in the sand and saying, this part of the day belongs to me. Think about all the things we've lost to the infinite scroll. Remember when we used to just sit and listen to an album, or when we'd read a book for an hour without checking to see if someone liked our photo? or when we just have a conversation with a partner or a friend without a phone sitting on the table between us like a third guest. A digital sunset gives you that time back. You're trading that endless, mindless scrolling for a bit of real headspace. This doesn't mean you have to sit in a dark room doing absolutely nothing, unless you want to. It just means you choose activities that don't live behind a screen. It's about making a choice. Instead of being a passive consumer of other people's lives, you become the active creator of your own peace. You're making sure that when the sun goes down, your stress levels go down with it, rather than being spiked by a late night email or a stressful headline. Before we talk about how to do it, we have to understand the why. If you don't have a strong reason to put the phone down, you won't do it. The pull of the screen is too strong. These apps are designed by thousands of the smartest people in the world to keep you looking at them. They want your attention because your attention is how they make money. But your attention is also your life. When you give your last 2 hours of the day to a social media feed, you're giving away the most precious thing you have, your rest. You're giving away your ability to process the day that just happened. You're giving away your chance to dream. The digital sunset is an act of self-respect. It's you saying, my peace of mind is more important than this notification. It's you saying, I am more than just a user or an employee. I am a human being who needs quiet. Now that we know why we need a digital sunset, let's talk about how to actually do it. Because let's be honest, it sounds great in theory, but when it's 9 p.m. and you're bored, that phone is going to look very tempting. You need a plan. The first step is picking your sunset time. This doesn't have to be hours before bed. If you usually go to sleep at 11, maybe your sunset starts at 10. Just 1 hour. That's 60 minutes of your time. Mark it in your mind or even set an alarm on your phone to say sunset starts now. When that alarm goes off, it's the signal to start winding down. Step 2 is the landing pad. This is a physical spot in your house, maybe a kitchen counter or a shelf in the hallway where your phone goes to sleep. It shouldn't be on your nightstand. If your phone is within arm's reach while you're in bed, you will check it. It's human nature. But if you have to actually get out of bed and walk across the room to check a notification, you're much less likely to do it. Give your phone its own bed, far away from yours. Step 3 is dimming the lights. Remember, we want to mimic a real sunset. Turn off the big bright overhead lights in your house. Use lamps. Use candles if you like them. This sends a physical signal to your eyes and your brain that the day is ending. It's much harder to feel wired when the room is cosy and dim. The biggest reason people fail at a digital sunset is that they don't know what to do with themselves. We've become so used to being entertained every second that 10 minutes of quiet feels like an eternity. We feel twitchy, we feel bored. But here's the secret. Boredom is actually good for you. Boredom is where your best ideas come from. It's where your brain finally has the space to process what happened during the day. However, you don't have to just stare at the wall. Think about low-tech joys. Remember those? Picking up a physical book, one with paper pages you actually turn, is a completely different experience for your brain than reading on a screen. There's no glare, no notification popping up, and no blue light. Or maybe you try the brain dump. Keep a notebook by your bed. If you're worried about something you have to do tomorrow, write it down. Get it out of your head and onto the paper. Once it's on paper, your brain doesn't have to hold it anymore. You can tell yourself it's okay, I've got it written down, I can deal with that tomorrow. Similarly, you can do this with a to-do list for the next day. Making sure it's down in a list means that you don't hold it in your brain anymore, but you know that you're not going to forget anything. You can also try the sensory shift. Listen to an album from start to finish, not just as background noise while you do something else, but really listen to it. Notice the instruments, notice the lyrics, or try a warm shower or a cup of herbal tea. These are physical, real-world sensations that ground you in the present moment. They pull you out of the digital clouds and back into your own body. I want to be real with you. The first few nights are going to be tough. You're going to feel an itch to check your phone. You'll wonder if someone messaged you. You'll wonder what's happening on the news. This is totally normal. It's actually a sign of how much the technology is taking over our habits. When you feel that itch, don't beat yourself up, just notice it. Say to yourself, oh, there's that feeling again. I want to check my phone, and then just breathe. Wait 1 minute. Usually the feeling will pass. Think of it like training a puppy. Your brain is used to running off in every direction, chasing every digital ball that's thrown. You're just teaching it to sit and stay. It takes practice, but every night you do it, it gets easier. After a week, you'll stop reaching for the phone. After 2 weeks, you'll actually start looking forward to the quiet. You'll realise that nothing urgent actually happens between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. that couldn't wait. The world kept spinning and you got to rest. So what happens if you stick with it? What's the prize at the end of the digital sunset? First, you're going to sleep better. This isn't just a guess, it's a fact. When you give your brain that hour of darkness and peace, your sleep is better. You wake up feeling like you've actually rested, rather than just black out for a few hours. Second, your focus will improve. By practicing not reacting to notifications at night, you're training your brain to focus on one thing at a time during the day. You'll find that you're less distracted at work and more present with your family. But the biggest reward is a sense of agency. That's a fancy word for feeling like you're in control of your own life. When you choose a digital sunset, you are proving to yourself that you're the boss of your technology, not the other way around. You're deciding how your day ends. You're deciding what thoughts you have before you go to sleep. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. Instead of feeling groggy and reaching for your phone to see what the world wants from you, you wake up naturally. You feel clear-headed. You feel like you actually had a break. You can walk into your day with a sense of calm because you spent the night before taking care of yourself. I don't want you to think you have to change your whole life overnight. You don't need to throw your phone in a lake or delete all your apps. Technology is wonderful and it does so much for us, but like anything else in life, it needs boundaries. The digital sunset is just a boundary. It's a way to protect the most important person in your life, you. So tonight, I want you to try it. Just for one night, pick a time, put the phone on the landing pad, dim the lights, and just see how it feels. Let your mind finally drift off the clock, let the digital sun go down, and let your own inner peace come up. You'll be surprised at how much better the morning feels when you've actually said a proper goodbye to the day before. You've worked hard today, you've done enough. Now it's time to let the sun set. Good night and sleep well. I really hope this video helps you. Please try these techniques and see how you go on. And come back and let me know. It would be great to read some comments about people who have tried this, or if there's other ways that you have a digital sunset that you do already. Let people know in the comments. I hope you've liked this video and I'll see you in the next one.